Welcome back to Undefeated.
Yeah.
We're going to defeat it eventually in the finale, so gonna have to rename the visual novel. Bad news.
I'm gonna revise my prediction of this story being a reverse harem Why Choose adventure.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that Drayden is gonna be the bottom of the reverse harem Why Choose. And they're just gonna box Zander out entirely.
What is a... You keep saying reverse harem, and I keep letting it slide. What the fuck are you saying? I can't...
So it doesn't really apply here. It's kind of... I'm just kind of goofing. But like, a reverse harem is a trope in romance novels where the girl is basically used by a bunch of guys, as opposed to like the guy using a bunch of girls. So it's not just like the girl is in charge of like her harem. It's like she's basically like the sub to like 5 other doms, kind of. Anyway, so that's gonna be Drayden's future. Calling it now.
Any minute now.
Him, the commissioner, everybody, but not Zander.
All right. Well, you're
Hey,
first.
did we ever see that rat dude again?
No.
Okay, what the fuck's up with that?
Maybe he'll show up later as a callback to that scene and further and like
The
follow up on that
ass
thing
cooch?
later, or he
Let's
might
see.
have been a. He also might because like the other guy showed up. The guy he was actually that was beating him up kept showing up, but now he's fired.
Yeah, yeah.
Or maybe he never shows up again. I don't know. If he never shows up again, then I would almost guess that he might have been a like a supporter or friend cameo or something.
That's what I was gonna say. Is it's like a friend getting a shout out or something?
Yeah, it's always a little hard to be completely sure, but like you just recognize certain characters showing up a lot sometimes in furry art.
Yeah.
Through commissions and stuff like that. And I swear I've seen a rat that gets in tons of boxing matches and so on.
Oh, okay.
But I don't 100% know if that's the
Oh,
same
it might have been a
one or-
reference. Yeah, maybe not even like a friend or something like that, but just like a running joke.
They're just straight up are just like certain characters that you just show up in popular furry art and stuff that just like are actually in visual novels eventually.
Right.
Because like as a fun perk maybe.
Okay. Yeah, I'm curious because I totally forgot about them until I watched episode 5 today,
Yeah.
and it was like, that's weird.
One-off characters can also just be like a creator.
Yeah, the
A
self-insert.
creator's self-insert or one of their characters being put in. Like in our Dead Laws series, Arya shows up, who's our artist, as a character who dies immediately. And then like in Ka's No Way Home,
Bridge your artist, you know, that's what they say.
Bridge your artist. Yeah, in Ka's No Way Home series, there's like a big ensemble cast like spa scene and with like a dozen characters, and that's a chance to fit some people in.
Makes sense.
In the most recent episode of Liar that I recorded, the creator shows up playing the piano in the background of the party.
Cool. Yeah. Stanley shows up in his furry visual novels too sometimes, you know.
Yep. Big furry fan, Stanley.
All right. I guess we'll start playing the thing that's
If
in front
Marvel
of
made a
us.
furry visual novel, would that be a Stanley parable?
I'm gonna say yes, and probably not as good as the Stanley parable, but like it would be a pretty good Stanley parable. You know what I'm saying?
So stupid. This is so stupid.
How has
What you thought?
Redline been since the party?
Dead.
Don't fucking tell him about the letter.
Oh my god.
Don't do that. Oh my god. Maybe tell him about the letter though.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The fact that this
I
is
don't
like
know how toxic we want to be, but
I don't
like
know. I mean,
it would be pretty in character.
it's also like a guesswork about whether or not it's like, is this meant to be like friends care and they get involved in people's lives and they tell people that people need help, or is it a huge betrayal of trust, or both? Yay!
I don't know. I'm leaning towards the top option because I think it's going to be more dramatic.
Yeah.
But, you know, it also feels innately kind of weird.
If anything, I also want to push everyone to calling us out if that is ever going to happen.
Oh yeah, okay, top one.
Yeah. Actually, I think he's hiding something. I'm not sure what.
Why do you say that?
I lean in close and lower my voice, trying not to look at Redline.
He's here? Wait, he's near them?
I forgot, because this is the date.
Oh, God.
We stopped in the middle of Redline currently sparring the Australian name. Bucky.
Oh, wow. They're talking...
Yep, in an echoey room where it's mostly empty.
Incredible.
In a setting where people have good hearing. He got a letter from his sister and a box full of his stuff. Apparently Mom tried to throw it out, but his sister salvaged a few things.
Oh.
It was all like personal stuff too. He had clothes and a guitar and some art stuff. Braden lets out a solemn sigh.
I had no idea things had gotten worse.
Worse? He looks at me funny.
Neat. I take it he hasn't told you about... Oh, he probably has fucking told them about a lot of things.
I mean, he's told me a lot about them, but it sounded positive. He talks like he really loves them. Another sigh.
Maybe you should ask him about his family again.
We both look back to Bucky and Redline wrestling, little hyena laughing as he finally flips the big guy over. Sure.
Have you heard anything about his friends?
I don't really talk to them, but he did kind of get weird when he saw them today, now that you mention it. He got all quiet, but he said it's because he hadn't had a fight in a while.
I see.
Right? It's not like Redline would stay quiet about his friends. He never shuts up about them. Even if he hasn't talked about them in a few weeks. Uh-huh. Uh-huh?
You know, Zander is like also like acutely, fine-tunedly aware of like any changes or like any behavior from anybody else except this, which he's like overlooked. Oh, poor Redline, man. Anything that... Oh, Jesus. He just never gets not beat up by this.
Do you think something happened? Grit sighs.
Probably.
Should we say something?
I tried asking. He keeps saying everything's fine. As frustrating as that can be sometimes, we can't really force him to open up.
That's fair. He's right. It sucks, but forcing the questions could only make things worse.
And how have you been?
I still don't know if I should talk to him about how much Bruce and I have been talking. At the very least, we should talk about it in private. Not bad. My abs still hurt after the fight last night.
Well, if that's the worst you're feeling these days, that sounds like an improvement. Have you heard anything from your family?
Actually, now that you mention it, no, I haven't. Not since we talked a month ago.
I see. Have you put any thought into what you'll do if he calls again?
He's awfully persistent. So persistent that he hasn't been mentioned for multiple entire sessions I was recording this game. I almost forgot what they meant. Do you think we'd maybe talk about this in private? Zander,
yeah, that would be great.
Uh-huh. Zander, you just talked about Redline stuff. Right here, his private stuff. But now you're worried about being overheard?
Well, it's because it's his business.
That's a rough contrast.
Ah, of course. Just let me know when you'd like to talk it over. You have my number. Pats his ass.
Mm-hmm. Of course, Doctor. As Bucky finally pins Redline, the kangaroo cracks him back in a chokehold. Cranks him.
Cranks him.
Don't crank him.
Crank him.
The kangaroo cranks him back in a chokehold. After a few choked laughs, little hyena taps out, and the two collapse forward on the mat, exhausted. They both have big smiles on their faces. They seem happy.
They seem happy.
It's funny
yes.
Yeah, it's a funny clarification when you've already...
Mm-hmm.
The expression's already happening. Bucky scoops Redline up, draping the limp Yeen over his shoulder, and trots back over to us. I just can't get used to Yeen being used in, like, normal language.
It is a little neat. Also, I like his, like, action art. Looks pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it's a good pose.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, Yeen is a jokey term that furries use at each other about hyenas all the time, but, like, having it used like a legitimate alternate for hyena to the point where it's said more often than hyena in the script, it feels like, starts to feel like a little, like, I don't know, I pause every time I'm about to read it because it feels wrong to just use it in normal sentences all the time. Hey, I'm not done.
Oh, ho, yes you are, pup. You got a fight coming up, and we got practice later, so that means you gotta rest.
The kangaroo stops in front of us, then it flips Redline over, holding him bridle style. He turns to look at me and Drayden, tongue hanging limp out of his maw, panting like a dog.
Here, you want him?
Bucky starts to hand him over, and I awkwardly accept Redline into my arms and immediately have to ease him toward the ground. He's heavier than I was expecting. You know exactly how heavy he is.
No, he doesn't.
It was the topic of discussion for the last hour. He catches himself on his
weight class thing. You expect him to remember the weight class thing?
It's if there's most one thing Zander doesn't care about. Conversation.
Zander doesn't give a shit about weight classes. I don't know what you're talking about.
He catches himself on his feet, then drops down, laying spread eagle and panting some more between giggles.
It ought to weigh him out for a bit. You had fun fighting above your weight class, pup?
Yeah. How come you never trained me like that? Why are you centering yourself, buddy?
He's not so jealous. Why you never fight me like that?
Yeah, why aren't you all over my buddy?
You only tossle me. You never lay me spread eagle.
Yeah. When his eyes are closed, Bucky's face looks like Handsome Jack's scar.
Oh, Jesus.
How's that for a callback?
It does. Oh, wow. That's uncomfortable. Well then. That's because... Maybe we should start then. Never took you as a glutton for punishment too, Zander.
Okay, yep, I'm a deer. You got me.
Everyone in the room is just like uncomfortable. They're like, not cool, dude.
Oh my god. A new sixth nickname for me to be ambiguously mad about.
He's like, what? It doesn't mean anything offensive in Australia. It's just what we say to each other.
I just said his name weird. In a flash, he pulls me into a headlock, grinding his knuckles hard against my head. I try swinging my fist for his sides and pulling free, but with no luck. It's too warm. Pressed against his sweaty body, bare knuckles digging harder and harder into my scalp. I have to tap out. Dude, you had 2 seconds.
But he's
Zander,
so far above his weight class.
Tapped out in 2 seconds.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was a noogie of death, so...
How is he ever going to defeat How's he ever defeat the other guy then?
Bruce.
What the fuck's he gonna do?
I don't know.
There's no chance.
Learn the noogie technique. There you go, little man.
We have to start doing Looney Tunes tactics. He lets me go, and I stumble back against the counter. Redline lets out a little laugh.
What the hell? It wasn't that intense, dude.
Redline lets out a little laugh, but goes back to gasping.
Just a little taste of what's to come. Now that you and Red got me fired up, I'll make sure you get some special training with your coach. Now, if you'll excuse me, I was about to go on a walk with my dear friend Drayden.
I'm gonna go home and fuck my wife. The doctor blushes a bit, and Bucky leans down to help Redline to his feet.
Yeah, boy's gonna be alright for class later today.
Yeah. I'll be gunning for you, Coach Buck.
Oh, and it's double your punishment in class.
He lets out a laugh. And while Redline tries to get a weary protest out, Bucky and Drayden make their way to the exit.
Let's chat more soon, you two.
So many people are particular about their names in this setting. I nod at Drayden, but Redline just collapses again, panting face up on the ground. I sit down next to him, listening to him giggle for a while. He's never tried putting me in a headlock like that before.
Good Lord, Zander. I'm so jealous of this. I don't understand.
I don't know what his fixation is. You've only known him for a couple months. He did it the moment you acted about it. You mentioned it. He's really scary when he gets riled up, but in a fun way. Yeah, I noticed. I think Drayden noticed too. He's having trouble walking in those pants. How's your back feeling?
Wow, that's really funny. I did not make that connection. That's really funny.
I'm fine. I'm great. Those slams were nothing. They really did not sound like nothing. Did you learn your lesson? Oh, yeah, Coach gave me plenty to work with. I haven't wrestled like that in a while. You and I grappled like 5 days ago. You interacted 5 days ago?
I thought he hadn't seen him for weeks or something. I don't remember this.
Honestly, I have no idea. It's left ambiguous. It's hard to say. It's just kind of like, oh, he's scarce or something.
Oh, it could be, yeah.
In a way that we talked about how it's hard to understand exactly what they mean by that, because we're like, aren't you in the same bedroom all the time?
Yeah, true.
No, I mean like with someone bigger, and Bucky's way bigger than Jesse. That loser's gonna eat pavement. As shown by how I defeated Bucky today. Wait. He rolls onto his front and pushes himself into a standing position. I'm gonna go run and grab some water. Maybe a shower too. Bucky stinks. It's definitely more your scent, man.
All right.
Redline takes a whiff and realizes his mistake. Shush! I'll grab a shower. Red starts out the door, and at the same time I feel my phone vibrate in my pocket. With a heavy grunt forced by the pain in my abs, I get myself up off the ground and check it. It's a text message from Dad. Ah, hey! The text can wait. It's the giant striped hyena. I forgot about him.
I forgot about him too. All right.
It's the striped hyena that's colored like a striped hyena, whereas Redline is not colored like a striped hyena. I don't know if it's supposed to be a brown hyena.
I think he told me about this.
Yeah.
And I did not understand it, except one of the things that you showed me looked really cool.
There's just a fuck ton of striped hyena personas to the point where they're almost as common or maybe more common than spotted hyenas, the ones that people actually know that aren't furries. But my character's a brown hyena, but he's kind of, I was considering redesigning him because he doesn't have like the cool long hair poncho body. Like they have like long hair on their main body and short hair on their limbs. Redline has just stripes on his like forelimbs mostly, like a striped like a brown hyena kind of, but then his whole body doesn't really resemble that. He just looks like a striped hyena that is brown in color. So it makes it harder to guess. But looking at these two, they also have different tails.
Yeah, I was looking at that myself.
Yeah.
I don't know. You're the you're the yin expert.
He might be meant to be a brown hyena. I don't know. Don't know. But he's fucking... That guy's big.
He is probably the biggest character. He's bigger than Bruce.
Brown hyenas are also pretty small, although I think they're smaller than striped hyenas, but the smallest ones are aardwolves. Which is that's the 4th hyena type. There's 4 total. Whereas hyenas are fucking huge. For spotted hyenas are huge. The text couldn't wait. I charge out into the hall to see Redline pressed up against the wall by someone. We still don't know his name.
No, I guess not.
Was he Russian? I don't remember.
I don't remember. With a mustache like that, though, I'm getting French vibes. But
oh, no.
I don't know if I want to do a French accent on top of all this. But
I know that I can't.
All right. Well, one of us has to do a French accent for this guy. So who wants to be more embarrassed?
I don't know how to do a French accent at all.
Okay. I don't know either. Go on.
Your immediate...
All right, we're bailing on this idea immediately.
Your immediate regret.
It's just... I don't know how to... I realize that, like, I can say French phrases stereotypically, but that's not enough... That doesn't inform doing a accent overall. So, come on, Pop. It's an easy question. I'm going with this. I don't know what the fuck is happening right now, but I'm going with it.
This is only made funnier by the fact that this game is presumably just all takes place in America or something. Like some sort of canine about Bruce's size. Is that a canine? Why does he have stripes?
I don't know.
What canine has stripes? About Bruce's size has Redline pinned, shoved into the wall next to the gym. He's got a scary bit of a sleazy grin on his muzzle. Redline looks uncomfortable. Maybe they just don't know that hyenas aren't canines. Stop, Cole. I already said...
Very French name, Cole.
Cole. At that, Cole smacks the side of Redline's muzzle, forcing a yelp from the hyena.
Jeez. Oh my god. I told you to call me Alpha, Pop.
Hey. I managed to catch their attention, and they both turned their heads to look at me.
Yeah, mind run.
Is he Australian already?
Apparently.
Leave him alone.
Oh, God.
It's okay, Zander.
Hey, I think I recognize. God damn it! You.
Oh my god.
This is a nightmare. This is worse than anything I've ever been through in my life.
You're having a breakdown between each word. It's literally incomprehensible.
Yeah.
And what does French sound like? You gotta get Naya in here to help. To panic.
Naya and a priest and like God, like we need a whole team right now.
I need to exercise this stream from having these lines in it.
Kill me.
Hey, I think I recognize. Nope.
No.
That's a dwarf?
Yeah, that was awesome.
I have like a vague mental image, if that makes any sense, of a voice, but literally no clue. No idea.
I think I recognize you.
Yeah. Oi, I think I recognize you. I told you to call me Alpha Pop. Yep, famous French voice. This bit is...
God. This is horrible.
He shoves Redline away and staggers up to me, bumping me against his gut. I stand my ground, staring straight up at him. I don't care. Fuck off.
You're that little creep that spilled your drink all over me.
I remembered the incident, but not the faces. I was panicking too much. It all happened so fast. It was back on my first day. I was talking to Redline and I bumped into someone, hard enough to accidentally crush my smoothie cup. The lid popped off, spilling the drink onto the big guy. He shoved me back, and I slipped a bit on the smoothie that fell on the floor. Redline tried to keep me held up, but I just dropped. There were 4 guys. One was Bruce. The guy that I bumped into was... Right. I was so scared when I saw Bruce, I totally forgot what the other guy looked like. Hey, what the fuck? You
got the problem shit had. Because it's sepia, so that's not the echo.
The canine with the stain and barks back at Redline. Wait, I remember his voice now.
I don't.
It was just a little bit prior, the first time entering the cafeteria.
He was Russian. I actually remember it now. Yeah.
I think probably, yeah.
I think I improved upon it, though.
I don't know about that. If you keep having to voice him, this is going to become egregious.
Okay, fucking fine.
At some point, it's like, you cannot get through his lines.
Okay, I'm fucking sorry, director.
I was walking through the aisles of tables. I got distracted by the food stations along the back, and I...
Oh shit, my bad, little dude. Ha 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 ha.
This was the guy that hit me by accident, or maybe he just didn't care? They all laughed at something, probably the fact that I just got decked by this big guy. I turned around to walk away, but...
You lost us something, little guy. Hey.
This... I was waiting for the flashback to justify itself, like he's gonna put something together. Like he's gonna put 2 and 2 together and it's gonna reveal something, but it's literally just like... Oh, here's the guy I spilled a smoothie on. Flashback. It's me spilling a smoothie on him, and then just like greater detail of him falling over, I guess, and stuff. And I'm like, I don't feel like this is necessary. You already said who he was a minute ago before the flashback. That's right.
Well, I mean, maybe there's going to be some key details. There's going to be some key context in that flashback brings back. Watch out for it. I'm going to keep a close eye on it. And you're gonna feel like awful dumbass. Let me try that again. Never mind. I don't think I got an apology for that smoothie incident, little man.
He leers down over me. I can feel his weight pressing into me. I don't know what's gotten into me, but I'm not as scared as I should be. And I don't think Redline ever got his. Hole glares down, a slight growl rumbling from his throat, but he smiles, then reaches back for Redline. What does he got? Does he have a hostage? Hole glares down, a slight growl rumbling from his throat.
I know.
But he smiles.
In a single swipe.
Did I read the first half?
Yeah.
Oh. Did the screen fade out and fade back in so it felt like it was new text? Because it was doing the animation, got it. It was doing that earlier too, and it was like throwing me off that it'd fade out and back in, but the same text would still be on the screen.
Yep.
In a single swipe, he got him in a headlock, grinding a noogie hard into his scalp. Hey!
We're just having some fun. Ain't that right, little slut?
Stop. Ow.
I just want to know where my buddy Bruce is at. said he was gonna meet me around here. Figured the FANG fuckhole would know where the champ is.
Redline just growls and struggles harder and harder, not even opting to respond. I have to do something.
You idiot.
Bruce strolls out of the weight room next to the gym, scruffing Cole harshly. He releases Redline immediately, who stumbles forward into me. The canine turns around to face Bruce. Scruffing is just when you pick them up by the scruff of their neck, I think.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm
a
a furry tourist. I don't know how to...
I mean, it doesn't come up that much. I could just pick it up from context, I guess. But
yeah,
he's taller than him, so scruffing him sounds dangerous. Sounds difficult.
Yeah. Jesus, dude, you're late. I've been waiting for you to spot me for an hour. And you're a dumbass. I said we're meeting at 1:30. No, you said we were meeting at 12:30. I said 1:30. You forget how to tell time.
The two keep arguing for a bit, the commotion getting louder and louder as it draws the attention of random passers-by in the hall. Eventually, Bruce grumbles and stomps back toward the weight room.
I'm gonna go work out, and you better quit picking on the lightweights. Yeah.
Cole scruffs Redline again, or at least he manages to grip it. I step between them, keeping Grohl from moving him.
Or what? You're gonna hurt me?
Bruce sighs and steps closer to Cole, staring him down.
Drop him.
Literally 1 second after he said fuck off, he immediately just goes right back to them while Bruce is still in the room.
I know.
Cole hesitates and lets Redline go.
You've been doing this shit for months, Cole. You spend all your time fucking around and lost your last 5 fights. Quit being a fucking idiot and get to work.
The two stay pressed chest to chest, growling until...
Whatever.
Cole finally releases his grip, shoulder checking Bruce as he stomps towards the weight room.
And now they go have a friendly workout session.
Now that they want to murder each other. What was the motivation, officer? Bruce sighs and follows behind him. I swear I catch his eyes looking to both of us before he enters. What a creep. You okay? I think so.
Aww.
You know him?
Pats.
Literally everybody is just after Redline all the time at this point. Like it's just like, how do we harm this guy more game?
Yeah.
Redline lets out a long sigh and shakes the tension out, starting down the hallway. I know a lot of people down here. I'm guessing you heard the buckhole? Yeah. His ears are folded down.
Does this count as hurt comfort?
As what?
Does this scene count as a hurt comfort arc?
I don't know. I've never heard that term before.
Oh. It's where, like, somebody gets hurt and another character is like, here, let me patch you up and then sex you.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out.
His ears are folded down, talking under his breath while we walk. I, get really close with a lot of guys down here. My mind goes back to Redline detailing his encounters while we were at the beach. Yeah, you've mentioned it. Well, Cole was different. Most of the time, the guys would just come over, I helped them out, and that's that. Cole was really mean about it. He's rough, not in a fun way. And ever since then, he just keeps making fun of me for it. I mean, I get hazing, but when he does it... Redline shudders as we reach the second floor. It's nice to be wanted like that, but I don't know. It just makes me feel, like, gross. Hopefully Bruce can keep him on a leash. I can't always be around to protect you. He goes quiet for a second, looking away. I don't know if you protected him, honestly.
No, he didn't do
or had any power in that situation.
No, Bruce came in and protected him.
Yeah. And he's just swooping in to take the credit here. Zander, the guy who didn't do anything really. Sorry. I wasn't trying to make him feel bad. Shit. Don't apologize to me, it's his fault. Right. By the time we make it into the room, Redline's stone silent. He gathers up some clothes quick and leaves to shower. He seemed so proud of his escapades when he was bragging at the beach, but I feel like he's still not being fully truthful. It's nice to be wanted like that? Like an object? Is he proud of that? That's not necessarily what the implication was. At least him enjoying it with the other men that aren't the ones that the guy that specifically degrades him and holds it over him and then publicly defames him over it and actively is a weird nightmare man. It's not necessarily like an object. You can bond with people. It seems suggested that he has bonded with Bruce both platonically and sexually, and that's what their deal is, akin to how a lot of furries do, frankly. People are free to do what they love. It doesn't feel like there's any love there. Maybe it was an obligation for him. He probably feels pretty lonely. His parents hate him. His only friend stopped talking to him. He just got shoved around by some asshole. I think back to the time he embarrassed me in class. I felt fucking sick. And the last thing I needed was to be isolated from everyone else down here. All I wanted to do was run to the showers and cry. And cry. My body moves on its own, shifting out of our room and stomping down the hall towards the showers. I'm there before I can even think. There's only one shower going. I move closer, leaning up against the wall next to it, staying quiet and trying to listen. He literally just was with Redline, who's going through this stuff, and then he has the thought that Redline must feel really lonely right now. And then he went to the shower on autopilot away from him. As far as I could tell, wasn't Redline still in the room?
No, Redline went to go to the shower. He's taking a shower right now.
So he's following Redline on autopilot.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
It's hard to tell. I guess that's why people cry in the showers. Red? Ah! His face appears from around the side of the shower. Oh. Hey man, what's up? He doesn't look like he's been crying, though it's hard to tell. His whole face and body is soaked.
God,
are you okay?
Dude, this could have waited. This is kind of... I get it.
I guess he's getting back to Redline from when Redline walked in, specifically when he was in the shower. Like he needed to specifically walk in on him here. Red pauses for a second, then smiles. Yeah, man, why? You worried I'm gonna slip and fall? It'll take a lot more than that to hurt me. So that is a real fear of mine. It's not why I'm here.
Okay.
Just making sure you're okay. I frequently think about that first death in Final Destination, just all the time. Just tripped and fell in the shower, and it looked like an accident.
I gotta talk to Drayden about this. This is a breakthrough.
It's actually why I hate my dad. It looked like some of Bucky's slams hurt. Oh, pshaw. That guy's got nothing on me except for all of the victories. Right, well, if you're alright, I'll head out. You sure you don't want to hop in? The water's nice and frigid. Just shrink you right down. I roll my eyes and start to leave. I'll pass. Catch you later, Red. I'm sure he's fine. At least as fine as you can be.
It's the thought that counts, I guess.
Even the thought here. At least as fine as you can be after getting shoved by some meathead in the hallway. Huh. So he autopilot walked to the shower to just... Instead of just like continuing with Red or catching up with him or just talking, like he could have been talking to him in the bedroom when they were just together, or could have followed him and caught up to talk to him. But he specifically, like, I guess, zoned out in his bedroom left and like for long enough for Red to just leave and go all the way to the shower and start taking a shower. Then he caught up with him to then not talk about the thing that he thinks would be bothering him, but instead be like, yeah, but Bucky beat you up. And then the moment he's leaving, he's back to thinking about the thing that actually bothered Red that he didn't bring up.
It's weirdly impulsive, and like, I don't know. Maybe he, I don't fucking know, man.
He's just incapable of communicating with another person.
Yeah.
Zander is a wild character.
Yeah.
Brave enough to walk in on somebody showering, but not brave enough to actually bring up the topic that they were already talking about anyway.
The only rational explanation then that you're saying is that like he's like, I wanted to cry and he walked in on me getting a shower. Wait, I think I know where he is right now.
I'll get him back.
Like, I don't know, man. That's so confusing.
Why would Bruce ever be friends with a guy like that? I guess it would make sense that they're both as dumb as I thought. But Bruce is smarter than that. At least he seems smarter than that. Maybe it's hard to make friends down here. People say that it gets lonely at the top. And I guess that probably has some truth in it, especially if the selection down here is bone dry. I pull out my phone to check the time. Ah, right, the text from Dad. Texts are at least an improvement. Now I can see what he has to say without the pressure of talking back right away. Hey, bud, call me. Wow, fixes that. Dad. Signing off your text.
Oh, that's great.
A signed text. I wasn't ready for that. Well, there goes the option of not talking back right away. What the hell does he even want to talk about? I should just delete the text and block him.
Oh yeah, texting somebody to say call me is like so fucking annoying.
Unless it's call me back as a response to a missed call, but
yeah,
without one, because then it's preferable to leaving a voice message saying call me back. For some reason, my body gets a little numb whenever I think about that, tingly in places all over for a second, and then it disappears, like I got caught doing something I'm not supposed to. Probably something to talk with Drayden about. I swipe the text away and try to push it out of my mind. A lot's been going on the last, 12 hours? Bruce tried to get me to leave. Now he's trying to be friends with me. Redline got a fight that he needs to train. Really needs to train. I need to focus on that. Anything to get the rest of this shit out of my mind. I guess I've been here for a while as Redline walks in with a fresh change of gym clothes. He spent a lot of time zoning out for the last scenes. Like, Redline had enough time to go all the way there, shower, come back, and change. Oh, you're still here. Weird. Yep. He always smells like a wet dog.
Oh, come on.
Which is weird because he's not one. The room stinks of it. The room stinks of it when he comes back after a shower. I was gonna try and try out my fight stick for a bit before practice. I don't really have anything better to do, so I sit and watch Redline tap away at his buttons. It's like riding a bike,
like the last time they played video games together.
Just staring at him. The other controller is nice, but this one's more comfortable, you know? He turns to look at me excitedly. I actually used to, his ears lower. He looks back to his laptop. Anyway, I'll shut up now. Did he just get embarrassed? I didn't know shame was something he could feel. Jesus fucking Christ. Can I go back to being Chase? I'm ready to go back to being Chase from Echo at this point instead of being Zander. Being in Xander's head is killing me. Jesus Christ. It's just such like a mean high schooler way of thinking about another person, and the point where he's like reducing him to like a cartoon character that has no depth, and it's like meanwhile Redline has literally done nothing but express how much depth he has as a character compared to everybody else in the game in every scene all the time. We learn more about Redline literally every scene. It's mostly a game about revealing things about Redline, basically. And
he's like, you described it really aptly when you said it's like you're piloting a mech that's mean to Redline and you can't control it. Like, I didn't know shame was something he could feel. Like, that's so profoundly like petty and fucking mean.
But we're also literally in a storyline about
somebody.
Redline's shame as the fuckhole. Remember? That's what the last scene was just about, was shaming Redline explicitly. So it's like, how do you not remember that, buddy? It's literally what we were talking about. It's like the glib bullying just starts to get really mean.
Yeah. This one in particular is like, that line is like really, really harsh.
Yes. You're fine. Talk away. Redline shakes his head, booting up that fighting game from before. Wait, he said like riding a bike, but he wasn't. I guess he's just doing motions on the controller that wasn't doing anything. But it was. You think he was saying,
he was just demonstrating it?
Yeah, I was just expecting to say that after actually testing it for a moment. So I just assumed he was doing that, like in the game.
Yeah.
It's like, you go ahead. You're allowed to talk. It's like, no, it's just, buddy, you could not be more signaling at every instance that you don't care about anything he says, and you're kind of annoyed he's talking all the time, which we know is the case. It's like
you're probably just going to give him a backhanded comment anyway.
He's going to notice you don't like him at some point. God. Nah, I just talk your ear off. God damn, I want Redline as a roommate. This is stupid. It's unfair. It's wasted on Zander. I let out a sigh and sit on the foot of his bed to get a better view of the screen. If I'm being honest, it's weirder when you're not talking. Why are you like this? Why'd you say it like that?
Why'd you say it like that?
Why are you making it his fault? Don't distract me with how you're like depressed and stuff. I'm just gonna think about it. The song took me aback at first because it almost sounded like the notes from "Take Me Out to the Ball Game," like rearranged and remixed, like a fucking like furry dubstep remix. You'd see it at the raves. So I was like, wait, what song is playing? The game finally boots up, blaring the theme music. At least his ears are perked up now, though that might be from the sudden volume. Redline sheepishly chatters away about some of the lore behind the game. It sounds really confusing, but I'm only half paying attention.
You're fucking kidding me! Oh my god! Oh my god, dude!
Commanding him to talk, but ignoring what he says.
Oh, Jesus. Give me like 5 seconds here.
Gonna be okay? You gonna recover?
Yeah, I'm fine, I think.
Just
alright.
Being murdered by this video game. You need to take a break.
No, we're good. We're good. Keep going.
He stops on some menu. Think my internet is out? My phone's working just fine. It says it's connected. Think the new firewall is blocking me from playing my games too?
Oh, kill him. Kill Zander. That's a sin.
I wouldn't put it past them. No, you personally removed his ability to play video games. How could you? How could you do this? Redline sort of deflates in his chair. Sorry about that, Red. Maybe we'll get Bruce to learn how to play.
Yeah, he's like, I don't want to play with you. Maybe we'll get Bruce to learn how to play. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Not even gonna try to fill the gap left by
oh my god.
ruining his ability to have games.
Oh my god.
I just
keep going.
At least he can fight the AI. I was half joking, but maybe that'd give them something to do together. Anything to keep Redline happy. Anything? Anything. Anything as long as it doesn't involve you even a little bit.
God.
Like, his internal monologue is surprisingly invested in Redline being happy, but not in a way where he'll ever do anything. and he still doesn't want to engage with Redline or listen to him. He just wants to not deal with him making frowny faces around him. That's like, because it like annoys him, I guess. Like,
I guess so, yeah.
But when you look sad, that makes me feel like I should feel sad, so I don't like that. And that's like the level
it's a weird combination of him not wanting Redline to be sad because it's annoying, but like wanting Redline to be his normal mode, which then pisses him off.
Yeah,
but then he gets
winning.
like upset when that changes. So
it's literally like always a negative internal monologue about Redline no matter what.
Yeah, like it's super toxic, but in a way that I can't. It's like uniquely toxic. Like I've never heard of anyone being toxic in like that specific combination. It's fascinating.
I was half joking, but maybe that'd give them something to do. Yeah. He sets the big clunky controller down, gets up and stretches. Well, might as well go get ready for class then. He just got his gift. He just got his gift and it doesn't work.
Come on.
Well, not his gift, his own belongings back.
Yeah.
It's the gift of kindness from his sister. You're gonna try to get your ass kicked by Bucky again? He laughs and holds the door open for me. Bucky and Jesse too. I'm gonna have them seeing stars. By losing to them. The next few days go by in a blur. Redline's working out almost non-stop. When he's not sleeping or eating, he's in the gym, the weight room, or even the pool.
Got it. Yep.
He's up early and out late. No time to spend with friends, barely even any time to annoy me.
Oh my god.
Classes are going pretty well, too. Since the fight was on such short notice, Red and Bucky are usually working directly with each other. Apparently their impromptu sparring match gave Bucky a lot of insight on how to help Redline improve. It's actually pretty interesting watching him while he's determined. Which he usually is, I think. He's always pretty focused in the classes, but with the fight coming up, he's gotten a lot more intense, but in a good way.
I'll take your word for it.
Normally he'll goof around
I have no
a bit,
choice.
Joke around with Bucky, be a little extra just to be extra. But he's still got the cheeriness. But it looks like he's funneling all his energy into training. Diligence, maybe that's the right word. The kind of guy that can focus his sights on exactly what he wants and put everything he has into getting into that. Unfortunately, with those two working so closely together, that means I have to deal with the rest of the guys in our class. They're always reluctant to work with me, but I don't care either way. Yeah, it's weird how the whole class doesn't want to deal with you specifically. Like, I don't know what possibly would cause that. If they want to treat this like picking teammates in high school gym class, then I'll be the adult that actually tries to get work done. I swear one of them actually tried to hit me with full force at one point. Retaliating in the same way would just get me in trouble. I wish these guys could just focus like Redline is. Somehow they've made it this far in their career and they treat it like some kind of frat house. Whatever. Time passes, Redline trains. He goes to the weigh-in and... bigger? Redline shakes his head. They don't list the actual weights, so I might just be remembering wrong. But I swear Jesse looked even bigger than I remember him being. And you said he was already bigger than you. Yeah, maybe I'm just remembering wrong? I usually have a good eye for names and faces, especially someone as popular as Jesse. Are you nervous? He scoffs, flexing and patting his bicep. Who do you think you're talking to, Zan? I'm tougher than every champ down here. After posing for a second, he blushes and goes back to standing normally. Aside from you, of course, and I guess maybe Bruce. That's yet to be decided. And Bucky? I'd knock him out in the first minute. Confident. If that's the case, I'll make sure he knows about your plans. Redline laughs. There's that laugh. It's better when he laughs. Uh-huh. If only you could act in ways that facilitate this outcome. The fight comes up quick. It was barely a week when they announced it, so the past few days it felt like a blur.
You said that earlier.
Yep. Time feels weird down here. All we do is eat, sleep, and train. Sometimes I forget which day of the week we're on. I accompany Redline and Bucky as far as I can, right to the hallway leading to the immersion chamber. I wave them off as they enter the door leading to the catacombs. Well, not actually catacombs, but that's what they feel like. Just a long-ass maze of hallways and doors. Redline normally tries to drag me into the fights, but I don't actually mind watching them. The problem is everyone else. The rest of the guys are usually talking way too loud, goofing around when I'm trying to watch and study the fights. You need to get rid of all that energy during training. At least I've gotten good at tuning it out. I'm at the point where, unless someone bumps into me, I can't even tell they're there.
Ooh,
I enter the viewing rooms,
new room.
and I see the inside of the arena is already on the screen. So I hurry up and drop down into an empty seat, as far away from the others as possible. I kind of always imagined it'd be like a more literal viewing. I guess I'm just used to like in every anime that has a weird arena, there's always like an audience area of like all the other fighters watching from like the bleachers or the windows up top or something. I kind of I think I mentally always just figured that this area had like, since it's a big solid looking arena, I imagine that near the ceiling there was just like a ring of windows for like other fighters to look down and watch the fight.
Exactly. I imagine it as like doctors watching a surgery.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm a little surprised to see the tech startup rec room beanbag chairs that are colored and everything.
No, this is really, really good.
I did not expect this room. I enter the viewing room and see that the inside of the arena is already on the screen, so I hurry up and drop down into an empty seat as far away from the others as possible. The commentators start speaking off camera.
Good evening, FANG fans across the globe. This is Brett Brock, your favorite hawk, coming to you live from the FANG Arena.
Brett Brock, my favorite hawk. He's alright, I guess. He's been commentating FANG fights for a long while. At least for most of the time I've been watching. Brett's got a lot of ring IQ, and he also tends to provide a lot of insight on the fighters that other commentators would have missed. He keeps track of their records and history and tends to talk about things in a way that's just nice to listen to.
I'll take your word for it.
He's got sweet Riz, that YouTuber Riz. The last guy before him got canned after he asked the cameras to turn away from a particularly bloody fight. Apparently his comments ruined the shot of the knockout, and they couldn't use it for promos. You can't...
Can't dub it. Can't dub it.
Is it baked in? You can't remove his voice?
They recorded it with OBS, but didn't watch the tutorial.
I don't understand.
They put all the audio in. Yep.
Do you normally even hear the boxing match from the camera anyway?
No.
So just mute it. Even if it was recorded over the real audio, all you'd be losing is generic crowd noises, because I don't think you can hear punches in a boxing match on TV.
Listen, this place runs on a shoestring budget, okay?
Yeah. That's why they have an entire compound.
What's that fucking thing behind them over the elevator? Like, since this isn't like a viewing space, that's not where like
the fact there's just
an
like
audience is watching from.
The fact there's just a giant, seemingly like a TV screen or something. Like it's gonna show scores, maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if it's supposed to be a window or not. I don't know what the rules are, because we're not there. We're watching a screen. Whatever. Brett's alright. Definitely better than his co-host. And I'm Johnny Roar. Fucking Johnny Roar. This guy's a grade A creep. He started out as a video podcaster, which is a stupid name already. You make videos. It's not a podcast.
Wow.
Take that, Joe Rogan, the most popular podcast in the world. You have a camera in the room, so it's not a podcast. Them's the rules.
Incredible.
Anyway, he got popular going over some FANG fights, especially when they started getting more and more violent. He used to interview the fighters whenever they could get topside to speak with them. It got popular fast, so FANG brought him on to commentate. Now he's working some kind of weird limbo position where he's in FANG part-time just to talk over fights. Like a commentator.
Pretty weird. Can't wrap my mind around it.
So let me guess. So that he's got this crazy gig as a commentator where he comes in to comment over the fights, but then otherwise goes away. Unlike the other guy who comments over the fights and has never been mentioned before, so presumably he just does that too.
It's fucking incomprehensible, man.
I'm thinking about specifically the YouTuber Sean did a like 2 or 3 hour video about the Harry Potter books.
Yeah.
And specifically talked about how J.K. Rowling has a bizarre ideology in those books where there seemingly are no good or bad actions, just good or bad people. And so when a Slytherin does something and when Molly Weasley does something, for example, it's good when she does it and it's bad when Malfoy does it, but it can be the same action. I guess more accurately be like Draco and it's more specifically it's like Draco and Hagrid will do like the same actions at each other sometimes, but Hagrid is universally beloved by the narrative and Draco is the bad guy. And I'm reminded of that where it's like it almost feels like these two characters aren't dissimilar, but mentally Xander's like, oh, that fucker, and describes almost the same position basically, and that's how, and I think that's how he treats everyone almost. Like,
yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. And then also like all of this is just being like told to us and like just by him, and like at this point I assume Zander is like so completely unreliable and distorted that any information we glean from his internal monologues, I just assume
that's the thing
opposite.
Is like there's moments where a POV character might be like an author surrogate who's just there to exposit at you. Yeah. But because you're stuck with a character who's characterized, and in particular Xander's internal monologue is so cruel all the time to people that seem fine, it makes you distrust him whenever he has anything negative to think about anybody, even when that's our only source of information so far. You don't believe him.
Yeah. So I mean, now I'm of the opinion that like the hawk guy is probably like a dick and everyone hates him, and the other guy is cool.
It's just all reversed now.
Yeah, I don't know. It's fucking, he's such a terrible judge of character that like maybe you just have to inverse Zander and you're okay.
Since then, the embargo on fighters talking publicly has only gotten stricter, so it doesn't do too many fighter interviews these days. They got replaced by interviews with, man, I don't even know. The last 3 guests on the show talked about how much they hate women for not putting out on the first date, and then immediately shat on gay people for daring to look in his direction.
Okay, maybe he's a better judge of character.
Oh, it's a manosphere YouTuber. Got it. Say no more. His earlier videos had some actual insights into the fights, but now he's cultivated such a god-awful audience. It's just mind-numbing garbage. And he fucking sucks as a commentator. I mean, he's okay, I guess, but Brett had such a nice flow on his own, and now he has some homophobic influencer spouting out bullshit while he's trying to talk.
God, I don't give a shit about this segue.
I can ignore it, but it just makes the audience FANG garners a lot worse to deal with. A lot of guys hoping for more bloodshed and violence. It feels like that this kind of thing could be shown in some way.
No.
Like, if maybe you didn't make a narrative setting that requires you to never meet anyone outside of this building. Like, you could have him at a bar, and then he runs into fans, and like, oh, why are these weirdos so toxic? Oh, they watched that fucker, and like, you could build it organically with scenes.
You could do that.
It feels like a bit of a trap to make a narrative so constrained in its locations like this, because you can't, like, you just have to just randomly.
You either have to, you have to just accept that the amount of work that you're going to put into the world building for this just isn't going to happen. Isn't going to be seen. Like, the story I'm working on is a very constrained setting, and like, there's tons of world building that I have to do that I know, like, is like multiple layers removed from anything that will ever come up in the story. But it's required work to make everything logically consistent. And like, that pisses me off because I'm putting in a ton of work that is just going to sit in a document on my desktop for forever. And it's like, God damn it, I'm bitter that I had to do this. but like
you've got to make
it's
your
a consequence of
Silmarillion
working in the
so that you know like why things happen, and so that it all makes sense when you're writing the real story.
Right, and so like you have to accept in a constrained setting that that's like a consequence of it, and like otherwise you like do stuff like this and it's just like this weird road bump of like, yeah, this is probably a pretty interesting concept, but like, you know, it kind of derailed where things were going. And then, you know, I also ranted for 2 minutes about it on top of that. But I mean, fuck it, right? Like, we already kind of got derailed in the first place. So I don't know. I talked to Ladybird about this a little bit. The world building, the story has been very tough because it's like a really cool setting, and but the challenge of exploring it was like really, really high because of how constrained this is. So
and the way that we go in blind, like we just basically like in media res just pop directly into a fight.
Yep.
And then we just go from there. So the story's kind of always having to like backfill what's going on and what even the rules are, and whether or not this is an abusive or bad like work environment for everybody, or specifically a weird glitch for us, or how do most fighters even feel about this job? Like, are we all ready to unionize? What's going on?
And the thing is, like, this is an extraordinarily hard problem that that the author set up. Like this is a very tough writing challenge to pull off a constrained setting like this. And I mean, I think I've mentioned that before, but I'll just say it again. And like, if I were writing this, I don't think that I could do it without having to pull in other material and having to do things like you were saying, like going to a bar and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that I could do any better.
Or introducing a secondary protagonist of like somebody outside of here that you follow.
Yeah.
That's like seeing the stuff from an outside perspective or something.
There's no way I could work within these constraints. I think it's too difficult, and you know, I think that the author is like also running into a lot of those problems. But like, it's an extraordinarily hard story to pull off with the with some of these constraints that have been put on it. Anyway, let's hear more about Joe Rogan.
I can ignore it, but it just makes the audience FANG garners a lot worse to deal with. A lot of guys hoping for more bloodshed and violence.
Pleasure to have you here, Johnny. How are you tonight?
I'm fucking stoked for these fights, Brett. You know, I've been flying all across the country these last few days recording stuff for the John cast.
I hate him.
So I've barely had time to read up on the fighters. You mind filling me in?
Oh my god, he does suck. Alright. More than happy to, as usual, John Rogush.
The fact him summarizing as JR really makes it clear that it's Joe Rogan specifically.
Yeah.
It's literally Joe Rogan.
So the thing about masks is that you can't breathe in them, and
I hate you.
Brett starts listing off the card that's about to play out tonight. Pretty standard fare for a non-title fight card. A few fights from each weight class. Most of the big events occur on a monthly basis, but this isn't even one of those. I didn't even know that multiple fights happen back to back.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
That's never been established. That there's fights
and
before and
the
after
final
us.
fight of the evening. What?
Just the fact that we never know that there's fights before and after us.
Yeah, well, Zander doesn't care about any fights before because they involve other people, and any fights after, I mean...
He's unconscious.
He's unconscious for them, yeah. And the final fight of the evening, we've got, Raging Redline headlining against the 2-round terror, Jesse.
who the hell is Raging Redline?
I'm just reading the name of my card, Johnny.
They both laugh at that. Raging Redline. That's the kind of stupid nickname Redline would give himself.
Oh my fucking god. I just want this to be over.
Johnny's such an asshole, thinks Zander. Unlike me, who thinks the same things about Redline and won't interrogate that fact.
Oh my god. Even in the middle of a scene where Redline is barely mentioned, we gotta get a dig in.
It's his only appraisal of one of Johnny's opinions so far is him agreeing with him. After talking about how much of an asshole Johnny is, he's just like, the moment Johnny has a thought and we actually react to it in our internal monologue, we just agree with him. Like, yeah, Redline is stupid.
God damn, you were so right.
2-round terror now. Jesse calls himself that because he barely makes it past the second round.
No, I got that. I got it. And Redline's got called that because he's a raging
idiot. Well, now you make that sound like it's a bad thing.
Is it a good thing?
This commentary sucks ass. God, these two suck. We don't exactly have rounds in FANG. I'm explaining to the audience that has been. Thank God for that. Oh my god.
Thank God for that.
Oh my fucking god. But Jesse's fights have notably never gone beyond 10 minutes. Standard round length, of course, being around 5 minutes, but...
Wow, that's a very fun, nerdy explanation of this that everyone's loving right now in the audience.
I swear, every fight I see this guy in, he's had them out cold by 3 minutes.
Yep, Jesse's made quite a name for himself with his quick knockouts. I think it'll be interesting seeing how far Redline fares.
Raging Redline?
Yes, that one. Redline's been with FANG for quite some time now, but still hasn't had too many fights. He's got 3 wins and no losses right now compared to Jesse's 14 wins and 2 losses.
3-0. How long has he been here?
Jesse's definitely got experience on his side, but I know Redline's got a perfect record for a reason.
Until now. No.
Yeah, it does. It fades out whenever the background changes, but then the text is actually still on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
What's the O is new?
Yeah. Oh! Looks like our first fight is about to start.
Yeah, see, it's incredible. It's actually a really confusing way to present that. They started doing it like, I think last episode, and it's been happening a lot since then. I'm like, no, don't fade out the text.
Back?
Don't fade out the text in the middle of populating text.
Yeah. Looks like our first fight is about to start. Is like, God, you're supposed to be a hype man, you know? It should be something like everyone get ready for
Let's
shit
get
or another,
ready to
man.
rumble.
You know, it's gotta be.
All I know about boxing is ready to rumble.
It sounds like he's more
the
politely
Dreamcast
surprised
game in the form of a demo disc.
Yeah.
The screen dims whenever the fighters step out of the elevators. I lean back in my chair as the fight commences. At least it's pretty chill in this room. The smaller cars don't always get huge audiences, so it's not too bad.
Hey!
Bruce grunts from behind me. It almost makes me jump, had it not already been decently noisy in here.
This seat taken?
Without waiting for an answer, he shuffles through the row of seats, dropping down a few chairs away from me. No one else seems to notice, so I try not to enter. I try not to either. At least he's not bothering anyone. Bruce really only shows up for title fights, come to think of it. He's never at any of his friends' fights either. Why is he here? None of the heavyweights tonight are big names. None of my business, I guess.
Oh, God.
The fights get started, so I settle in.
Not even curious?
It's because he's friends with Redline, which you know at this point.
God damn it.
Like, I don't expect him to be able to pick up on the fact that Bruce's friend group is just people that he's not really friends with. He's just expected to hang out with them, essentially, and he does that, like, masculinity thing where he's like, yeah, I guess I'll put up with these people I hate. But he just actually likes Redline, and which was made pretty clear, and that's of course why he's watching Redline's fight. Overall, it's a decent card. Some of the new faces, well, new to me, were impressive. One of them landed 3 cartwheel kicks in the same fight. Still not sure if it's impressive for him or if, for his opponent for getting. Still not sure if that's impressive for him or for his opponent getting knocked out by one, but impressive nonetheless. Sure. The fight before the main event was between a rhino and a tiger in the heavyweight division. Looked like an easy fight for the rhino, but his ego was a bit too big and the tiger was a bit too brutal. The fight before them is Redline the main event?
Yeah.
And they're like, who the fuck's this guy? That's not they're not exactly hyping up the main
FANG makes
event.
some goddamn baffling choices.
The main event is a lightweight fight between a guy that has 3 fights and someone else. If I had to go into a fight with that much blood on the floor, I'd be a little unnerved, but there's not exactly enough time to clean off the cement. Jesus Christ. I've already wondered how they clean that off. Blood stains stuff pretty quick, right? How do you get the colors out? Not like they can pump new cement every week down here.
Yeah, I don't think they do that.
No. Well, a power washer? It probably gets it out. I guess they don't have to replace the whole floor, or maybe they.
I guess they don't,
some kind
dude.
of chemical that can clean that deep.
Yeah, probably.
They could not be having more extraneous thoughts before this fight. It's funny because it feels like it's a major narrative moment for Redline that they're building up to, but they're getting really sidetracked by every extraneous detail they can get into because, well, they've never shown a fight yet from Zander's perspective, so they've never had a chance to have any of this, so it's all happening now.
And the thing is, wasn't Zander saying, like, leading up to it, that, like, he's annoyed by how rowdy everybody is because he wants to focus on the details of the fight and stuff like that?
Yeah.
But, like, we don't see that. He just says, like, it looked easy for this guy. It's equal time analyzing the fight between the rhino and the tiger and wondering about soap, you know?
Yeah, like you kind of expect to hear him internally geeking out about the fights, if that's what he fixates on so hard, because he literally doesn't want to talk to anyone or be near anyone or have announcers or be engaged with any level of distraction or anything happening because he's so fixated on this. But then when it does happen, that's the most glazed over element of the scene. So he's not that fixated on that either. Who cares? It's not something I have to bother with. The two commentators are still chattering about the last fight when the screen goes black.
And stepping into the arena first, we've got the challenger, Raging Redline.
I can't believe they're still rolling out.
They're not going to change it now. God.
They think they're going to change the name on his behalf out of pity or something in the middle of the same show before he's even appeared on stage yet. But sure enough, Redline trots out of the arena to the sound of some rock music. He starts flashing up his stats flashing up on screen. 5 feet, 8 inches tall, 143 pounds. I guess I wasn't too far off with my original estimate. Then why were you surprised about it by his weight? You know, I remember seeing this guy's fights while we were scouting him out. I could tell he was gonna do some great things. I mean, the guy's an animal. You can't just say that. He's got stamina, he's got speed, he's got a surprising amount of power for someone his size. These lightweights, man, they're getting deadlier every year.
We haven't been able to see too much of him, but that might just give him the advantage he needs over Jesse.
Hard to research your opponent when you don't have much to go off of.
Exactly. And speaking of Jesse, it seems he's stepping out now.
Jesse stomps out of the elevator, and his stats show up on screen. 5 feet, 8 inches tall, 189 pounds. So he's like 44 pounds heavier, I think.
Yeah, it's awesome.
This is fair. This must be the lightweight division. Redline said that they both passed the weigh-in, but if this is a lightweight fight, he shouldn't be over 180. Maybe it's just a typo? That doesn't seem like Fang's normal level of quality control, though. They do have the system bugging out for my fights. He's got a point. Unless the system's just not bugging out for him, and it's also just weird, fucked up shit of them wanting to have bloodbaths at this rate. If this is happening to Redline. Bruce is leaning forward in his seat. He looks pissed. Well, he always looks pissed, so it's hard to read his face.
Coming in at 5'8" and 188 pounds.
That's a different number.
That is a different number.
Why is it a different number than 1 second ago when it was 189? Right? It was 189, right?
It was 189.
Yeah. Why would the number be different?
This guy is a beast. I know we were chatting earlier about his knockout power, but he's just insane.
Looks like Johnny saved Brett from having to comment on the size difference. It's even more apparent when both Redline and Jesse are staring each other down from their sides of the ring.
Why would you not want to comment about that? That's a very interesting thing about the fight. And here we go, kicking off the final fight of the night.
I think it's just because they're like, it's censorship. They're not supposed to ever comment on all the obviously fucked up things happening for some reason.
Okay. Fair.
You'd think at some point it'd be like the appeal of all this. It's like, aha.
Yeah, that's right, folks. We're doing fucked up illegal murder fights. Yeah, it's not even fair.
I feel like Redline's going to be seriously harmed in a egregious way.
Fucked.
Like this is going to be
so
very
fucked
bad
right now.
Admittedly, he is like twice as thick right now.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Redline, that training paid off in the last week. I guess they had the hyperbolic time chamber. That's what the immersion chamber does whenever Zander's not around. It's actually cool. Redline steps in with his fist extended. It's customary for fighters to tap gloves before they fight, a sign of respect. Jesse seems to have missed that day in class and instead charges forward with his fist cocked. He swings it in a wide hook that should have cleaved Red's head clean off, but the hyena is too fast. Redline ducks under the hook, circling out while sending a parting shot to Jesse's body. The puma is relentless, coming for Redline even after he tried to escape. 2 more blows fired at Red's snout, both missing their mark just barely as Red created some distance.
See, that's how Jesse gets you. He just comes out of the gate swinging.
That's what... Yep.
Tricked you. Thought you were getting a handshake, but then I knocked you out. Haha, that's I'm so good at fighting.
I've seen way too many guys take one too many from the start, and it just all falls apart from there.
You'd think after that kind of predictable start, people would start expecting it. Except Redline just did. He's prepared, or at least as prepared as he can be at a 50-pound disadvantage. Once Red's got a bit of distance, he makes sure to keep it. Jesse's got an intimidating form, foregoing proper technique as he stomps towards the hyena. Red's already circled out by the time he gets close. He's riding the gate, moving along the absolute edge of the arena. He can put a foot down outside it now and again, but if he's fully outside it, Jesse could close the distance and keep him there until he times out. Red's fast, only pulling his hands up if Jesse gets close. Some people might see it as disrespectful, but Red's not that type of guy, as far as I know. He's backed against one end of the ring. The puma moves in. Redline ducks and circles out, hardly even bothering to fight back.
Seems they're playing some tag in there. Redline's making a move all across the ring.
He's playing a dangerous game, but I think I see the picture. If Jesse's fight only lasts for a few minutes, that means he probably won't have the energy to fight past that time limit. Once he reaches that time, he's going to be exhausted, weak, slow. Redline can piece him apart. Of course, he's got to survive that long. No doubt the first few punches thrown at Red would have ended the fight then and there. But if the gamble pays off, Red will stay undefeated and make it to the next fight. Hopefully against someone his size. And then Redline stumbles over his own tail.
Are you kidding me?
What, is it even long enough to do that?
Wow.
Jesse's fist cracks clean against his muzzle, and the hyena staggers to one side. You'd think tail control would be part of training if that's an obstacle, honestly.
Yep, you think. Oh!
There's a nice shot.
A few of the guys still watching the fight made a bit of an uproar. A mistake like that is usually pretty huge, but it's clear that Redline's paying for it. Bruce, next to me, lets out a sharp breath. His gaze is deep, intense. When it comes down to it, Redline has no shot of surviving more hits like that. He might be fast and have plenty of energy, but he doesn't really have the option of starting a slugfest here and now, especially if he's flustered after that mistake. I silently thank the stars for how useless deer tails are. Taking advantage of Redline's compromised position, Jesse follows through. His massive frame charges in with another fist aimed at Red's face. The hyena's got his arm up, blocking a blow to his face, and another to his chest with his arms. And that's still got a sting, but better on the arms than on the face. Jesse ends his combo with a kick to Red's ribs, but Redline catches the leg against his side. Wait! The whole room freezes to watch. Before Jesse can react, Redline clutches that leg tight. He pivots on one foot, turning in place, releasing Jesse as he turns. The Puma has no chance to fight back. He hobbles on his standing leg, but ultimately gives in as his body is thrown along the floor, sliding outside the ring.
That Bucky taught him.
He taught him the things. If the floor was a typical canvas floor, that might have been less painful, but we could hear the sound of skin scraping on cement from here.
What is
that?
Through walls.
What does that sound like? That's audibly in the audio of the recording?
Yeah.
And even as small as Redline is, there was some serious force to the throw. 190 pounds is a lot to drop on the ground, and after how much Red has been running around the ring, it was starting to show. Jesse's sweat left an imprint where he skidded.
I cannot believe it! He threw him to the ground like it's nothing!
Typically after taking a guy down, you want to follow him to the ground and beat him unconscious, but Redline's actually backing away. He's opting to let Jesse get back up.
That's a pretty big gamble.
I've seen some guys do this before. It's usually just to piss off the other guy.
But it makes sense, right?
I mean, look at that guy. He's a string bean. If he goes to the ground with Jesse, he's gonna get rolled, pinned, and knocked the fuck out.
Of course, Redline's playing a long game. If he tries to finish the fight, he's going to get overpowered. If he tries to prevent Jesse from getting back in, he's going to get overpowered. The only option he has is to use the ring out rule against Jesse. That'll force him to get up and waste more energy. Sure enough, after a few seconds on the countdown timer, Jesse is stumbling to his feet and back into the ring. Redline looks full of energy, still moving carefully without issue. Sweat makes a nice sheen over his fur. There's a bit of blood from the knock he took, but he looks ready as ever. I'm not sure if I understand his gambit to make Jesse lose energy. In this case, standing back up and walking back into the circle is like a normal, it's like not that much of an action, and like I also don't know how he's wearing him out. If he's running circles around the ring basically, and Jesse just is like, I don't know, turning towards him continuously or something. Maybe leisurely walking in his direction with his arms up. Like, I don't feel like that's gonna be the way you tire him out.
Yeah.
It's a similar level of exertion that you have when you're like browsing the mall, I feel like. Jesse, on the other hand, is a bit sluggish. His fur has been matted down by the sweat, and he's moving a bit slower as he re-enters the circle. It's clear he's not learning too much, or at least he's not getting the picture just yet. He takes a second to breathe, then charges right in to attack Redline head on. The two play the same game as before, with Redline taking the occasional shot at Jesse when he circles out. It's not exactly the most interesting way to fight, but it's a more strategic fight.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like watching somebody plan and scheme and do something weird would be more interesting than, especially if you're calling it strategic, than like just...
And the commentators all said it was interesting.
Yeah.
Yep.
Given the size advantage, that's a better way to operate. If he wanted to be showy, he could. That's Redline's whole deal. But he knows as well as I do that every second he spends in there is dangerous.
The way that Jesse keeps charging in at Red, he's looking more like a bull than a puma.
About 10 minutes have passed, which is a ridiculous amount of time to be fighting without a break.
This is true.
Yes. Aside from the hook on Redline and Jesse being thrown, not a whole lot has happened. There's been a few clean strikes here and there. Redline's nose is bleeding a bit more after taking a jab or two, but he hasn't broken concentration. Jesse, on the other hand, looks like hell. His legs are shaking, he's losing sweat fast, his arms can barely stay up. And when a punch is thrown, Redline's dodging and countering with 3 more, all sent to the body. Aiming for the head is a good way to knock someone out, but body shots can be devastating. The body is sensitive, especially if you take a good shot to the liver or the solar plexus. With good aim and enough power, you could drop a guy in a few minutes with one shot there. No matter how big he is. Or for a few minutes. Barring that, of course, hitting someone's abs accumulates over time. The more you work their body, the harder it's for them to breathe, and the more energy they have to spend just to keep fighting back. Targeting only the body and conserve energy, while your opponent is notorious for having a limited amount of energy, is the perfect combination for... Ah! Crack.
Uh-oh. Holy shit!
I blink, thinking I missed something. It all happened so fast. Jesse was exhausted, completely wiped, and went to throw a punch, but his guard is absolute shit at this point. He's got no form, which is exactly where Redline wanted him. The Puma's fist is extended, with Redline having more than enough time to evade it. Rather than let himself stay within range of Jesse's deadly fists, Redline opted to use a kick instead. You could see the consciousness leave Jesse's body. With how exhausted he was, it didn't take much to put him out. The Puma went limp with the instant Redline's foot connected with his jaw, and the sound accompanying it made it clear that something was broken. Oh, he hit him in the jaw. It's a high fucking kick.
Yeah, that's fucking hardcore.
Jesus.
Can you kick that high normally in fights? I don't know.
I don't know if these fights have rules.
Okay, yeah.
I think the only rule is that they have to wear pants.
Yeah.
And the ring out, I guess. Like, the fight kept going after they dislocated Zander's arm, and then he was holding him up by the neck, which is not... I believe that's like a tap out at some point when someone starts doing like... For the fucking... If someone starts acting like the four-armed dude from Mortal Kombat and picking people up, I feel like usually most normal sports are like, I guess that guy won, we should stop this now. As Jesse falls, the others in the room all come to attention. Bruce tenses up, and when I turn to look at him, I see a grin on his face.
What the fuck is he smiling about, I wonder?
Time resumes, and Redline wastes no time finishing the job. What job? You said the conscience has left his body. Jesse's body falls limp on the concrete.
It's time for Redline to commit crimes, too.
Yeah? Like, what? You said his conscience has left his body and something broke in his jaw? I think he's gonna be out. Jesse's body falls limp on the concrete, and Redline follows up. Both legs plant over the Puma. Redline bends over, swinging 1, 2, 3, 4 hooks across his opponent's face. His broken face?
Oh my
Redline,
God.
chill. Once it's clear he's not fighting back, the bell rings out and Redline rises.
They have a bell? Why have they not used it for any assignments?
Yeah, the Puma gets the bell.
Unbelievable. With a beautiful kick to the head, Redline has put Jesse out cold.
Looks like he gets to keep his win streak going for another fight.
And with a performance like that, I think he'll be keeping it for a long time.
He raises his arms and pumps them, roaring out some victory screech as the ideal sound to associate with victory is screeching. Poor Redline. As the music starts playing, Bruce leans back in his chair and folds his arms. He's still smiling. Redline played it smart. He was patient and calculated, and being able to fight for that long under pressure from an opponent that much heavier just proves how hard he worked for this. He deserves it. That annoying prick that I hate.
Yeah.
I've woken out of the best sleep I've had in a while by someone pounding at the door, followed by what sounds like the door to the side staircase opening and closing? Probably some asshole running down the hallway and waking people up for no goddamn reason. It's happened before. I roll out of bed and stumble to the door. Redline's not here to be woken up. The doctors had him stay at the med bay overnight just to clear him for a concussion. That was a few hours ago, though. I'm sure he's fine. I swing the door open to see if anyone else has gotten woken up. There's a scrap of paper on the floor in front of the door. Looking down the hallway, there's no one else awake. I flip the paper over. Get Red to beach. B. So it's Bruce? Bruce? Bucky? I guess it's slightly ambiguous. Yeah, that's unhelpful.
Mm-hmm.
If it were Bucky, he'd probably just tell me directly instead of slamming on my door at 11 p.m. I can't tell if this is a dream yet. If it is a dream, it'd be pretty lame of me to just go back to sleep. May as well enjoy it. I'm really not in the mood for whatever Bruce has in store, but it sounds like he wants Redline more than me, and they actually do seem to have a history, so... I guess Bruce can't go to medbay?
I don't know.
Slide on the pants and sneak my... Why'd you say it that way? Slide on the pants
Slide
and
on the
sneak...
pants?
Slide on the pants? Slide on the pants. And sneak my way down to the medbay. I don't know why I'm sneaking. There's no curfew down here. But I walk with confidence right past the receptionist.
What?
And wander through the halls until I see a room where Redline's name outside it.
I don't know how you walk with confidence and sneak.
You sneak while walking with confidence past a receptionist, which is apparently on the way to the medical bay. And the medical room, the temporary medical room for checking if he has a concussion, has his name outside of it? That's surprising. The door creaks open, and he's in there, sitting on the bed, legs dangling off the side.
Oh, his closed eyes makes him very cute, though.
Yeah.
He's a sweepy will. He's an eepy.
Uh-huh.
Right. As the furry tourist, that's the word. Yeah, eepy.
Yeah. People say eepy. It's true.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Good.
Are you proud? Do you want a gold star? His ear twitches when he hears me, but he doesn't move until I speak up. Red? Duh!
Yeah.
He's not EP anymore. Immediately he comes to attention, turning to face me with a big smile. Ah, scared me, dude. What's up? You're still up. Hell yeah. Doctor cleared me a while ago, but I was, chatting with Drayden. I feel like I have a responsibility to ask him about that, but Bruce's note shifted in my pocket. Gotcha. I got this note by our room. I think it's from Bruce. He wants me to bring you to the immersion chamber. Without question, Redline hops off the bed, scoops a little knapsack over his shoulder, and trots to the door. Sounds good. Just like that? Do you need to check out or anything? Yep. Nah, they offered to let me stay the night, but I don't think I'll be doing any sleeping. Fair enough. He must still have some adrenaline from the fight. Congratulations, by the way, for your big win, Rumi.
Hey, I'm coming to see you because I have an errand to run.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Fair enough. He must still have some adrenaline from the fight.
Are you hurt? How do you feel? You know.
Yeah.
Did Drayden...
We make our way down the long hallway, and Redline's uncomfortably quiet. He doesn't seem sad, just quiet. For once, I'm leading the trek, and after a few minutes, we make it to the immersion chamber. Are you sure you want to do this? If you need to rest, we can... No, if he wants to see us, we can see him. We open the doors and find... Bruce, standing behind the bar counter, setting up a few bottles of various drinks. He looks up as we enter, and smiles when he sees it's us.
There they are!
Redline and I share a quick glance before he speaks up. What's all this?
Party. Didn't you know fighters get a celebration after a win?
Yeah, but it's usually a tier 3 thing.
Well, then you're a tier 3 fighter. Just for tonight. Figured a fight like that deserves a little party. So I booked the room for us.
This feels like a setup or something. I don't know. Bruce saw how drunk Redline got at the party. He knows how rowdy he can get.
That's a damn good point, actually. Bruce would know that about Redline.
Like he might want to consider not giving Redline drinks.
Yeah. Damn, that's a good point.
Yeah. But Redline smiles, drops his bag, and jogs forward to the little hut. Dude, that's so nice of you. What the fuck?
Just don't go mentioning it to Bucky.
He'll use the A word. Why? Afraid he'll kick your ass?
Yeah.
The two laugh as the beverages crack. Bruce looks at me and nods before starting to down one. Feels kind of late to be drinking, don't you think?
Shut the fuck up, Zander. Come on, dude.
Is there a specific time window? Do you need to drink specific between 7 or 8, or it's too late early because it's the bad time to drink now?
God. Thank you. Jesus. Don't be such a party pooper, Zander. I would use stronger words than that.
Yeah, like let him celebrate his one fight he's had in months. Donkey needs to be anywhere tomorrow that badly. Oh, time to go back to probably recovering, honestly. But even at most, he's like, oh, some training again, like every day. It's all right. We'll only have 1 or 2. Plus, I'd hate for Bruce to go through all the trouble and have it go to waste.
No trouble at all. I saw the fight. You were fucking great.
Uh-huh. See, here's an example, Zander, of Redline's tail starts wagging a little harder at that. He's having trouble finishing his drink fast enough to respond. You don't have to finish it, it's okay.
You got how many backflips?
4, no 5.
Bullshit. Oh, he's drunk. I bet.
I bet I can prove it.
Only if I get to be the one throwing you in the water.
Redline has drowned. We've been talking for a while. I'm getting a little sleepy, but it's nice listening to other people talk, just as long as I'm not the one needing to provide conversation. Redline and Bruce have been chattering about their various vacations for the years. For the years? Red brought up his summer cabin adventures, bragging about how many flips he did off da Pudge.
The Pudge. There's good world building right there. Captures your imagination. What's the Pudge? I don't know. We can always shave your chest to recreate the aftermath.
Why? So you can see my nipples, you whore?
Yeah, maybe get something tattooed there too. Raging Redline.
The raging is my penis. No. Red howls with
The
laughter.
Redline is also my penis.
Uh-huh. I got it tattooed. I still can't believe they let me get away with that. I slipped Brett the revision at the weigh-in. I didn't think they'd read it.
What? Oh, the revision to his name. Okay. Yeah. Well, congrats on your new brand, Rager.
God, don't.
The sports drinks are going to be breaking down your door for a sponsorship.
Oh, don't make me regret it any more than I already am. Raging Redline Gatorade, like this is like you can have the flavor. It's easy.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking awesome.
It's red flavored. Redline shoves Bruce playfully as they laugh. But when Bruce shoves back, Redline resists a bit too much and his drink tips over, covering Bruce's shirt and shorts. Oh, fuck. I'm sorry, man.
Nah, it's my bad.
The dino flicks a bit of the pungent drink off his arms and waddles to the exit.
Let me go get a change of clothes. Be back in a sec.
The door closes, leaving me and Redline alone under the night sky. Or at least, a simulated version of it. Redline's giggles are still dying down, but after a bit of silence he speaks up. Bruce is so fucking hot. I'm shaken a little by how suddenly he speaks up. Then again, by the realization of what he just said. He seems to notice too, as he covers his snout in shame. Sorry, I know you two have a whole thing going, but like, it's been on my mind forever, and I don't know who else is willing to hear it. It's fine, Red. His tail starts wagging. I mean, you're really cute too. Thanks. What the fuck, where'd that come from? I guess he's a bit more mouthy now that he's drunk. Redline laughs again, face down against the railing as he snickers. He has an incredibly low tolerance.
He does weigh 140 pounds and is 5'8". I mean,
right? Yeah. Sorry, I didn't want you to feel left out. That sounds like you said it out of pity or consolation. There's no right answers with you, buddy.
Nope.
It's fine, Red. Thanks. You've been calling me Red a lot lately, Zander. Have I? Yeah. Normally it's Redline with you. Bucky and I actually made a bet on when you'd stop. Oh.
That's funny.
Sorry. Is that a problem? No, not at all. I thought it was cute. It's fine either way. Red is reserved for good friends and family, of course. Right. Is it your real name? Did your family actually name you Redline?
I think they did.
I didn't think it was his name.
I thought Redline was like his fighting name the whole time.
Yeah. Like I was about to joke about Raging Redline because I'm like, isn't that a moniker on top of a moniker?
Mm-hmm.
What about me? Which guy do you think is hot? I don't recall ever telling Redline I like men. How did you know I'm gay? Because you just told me, dear boy. Oh. Damn. Redline rolls his eyes. Besides, like, I need you to tell me that. I've got a sixth sense. Hyenas have a very strong gaydar. I thought a hyena's sixth sense would be a sense of humor.
Jesus.
Because they're laughing all the time, right? Hyena joke.
Oh, okay.
He's like pivoting to us, like, like for reassurance.
like we're just trying to bail him out of his.
Like he's like desperately looking at the fourth wall, like, right? Like this is the thing. Wait, is that offensive? Redline thought it was funny at least. What the fuck? That's perfect. Okay, then Gaydar's my seventh sense. Non-definitive total number of senses. I'll keep going. He taps his nose, then touches one of my antlers. And it's almost never wrong. Well, he's got me there. With how openly comfortable he is, I don't really have a problem confirming his suspicions. Yeah, then you got me. Redline giggles and ruffles my hair. So which guy is it? Anyone got your eye? Oh my god. Oh my god! It keeps going. The commissioner?
I mean, realistically, none of them, right? Like, nowhere in his internal monologue has any of this come up. But what's the funny choice?
I mean, the funny choice is the commissioner. The funny choice is the commissioner because what the fuck? You saw
the commissioner is wild.
Vaguely in shadow, so you're just really into power dynamics, I guess, because you literally haven't really met him. Theodore's the rabbit?
Yeah.
It's just like fucking the most obvious candidates that the narrative would be setting up are Redline, Drayden, and Bucky as like just like friendly men around you all the time. Bruce would be a weird dynamic at this point with how much he hates him. But also Bucky and Drayden are probably interested in each other, and it's also just a really weird dynamic of like your trainer and your doctor and your weird prison camp that you're trapped in as a dating mechanic. I don't know. I assume that literally I assume that like 40% of people click Redline and 40% of people click no one. And that's like the majority of what makes sense. The commissioner!
The commissioner is extremely funny though.
Like what happens when I click on commissioner? I'm saved. I really only saw a part of his face, but the commissioner seems pretty handsome. Redline's smile disappears, replaced by confusion, disgust. Huh.
Wow.
I guess. What about you? Because it's your dad. Your dad is the commissioner, I'm pretty sure. So he's like, He actually knows what the commissioner looks like, and also it's his dad. So you're like, get the fuck away from me.
It is very funny.
We're never speaking again. I don't know. I guess we're probably out of time, so maybe next session we'll see what happens when I pick Redline inevitably, even though I'm revolted by the idea of Zander being with Redline, or having interest in Redline, because of his everything.
Man, this is a brutal one. This was a brutal one today.
I would pick Redline if I wasn't Zander.
This was a brutal one.
He won a fight though, surprisingly.
He did win a fight. Yeah,
I thought we were getting set up for some
Redline.
disaster right there.
I honestly thought that Redline was gonna like wind up in the hospital or die or some shit.
Yeah, Jesus. All right, well, see you next time, everybody.
Yep. See you next time.